communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Hello, and welcome to Millennium News TV 24/7 Daily Global News Update in English. My name is Todd Goldfinger, and here are today's top headlines. Thank you for being with us. News story number 1. Former President Donald Trump has lost his latest bid to end the business fraud lawsuit he faces in New York as he campaigns to reclaim the White House. Judge Arthur Engoron issued a written ruling Monday denying the Republicans' latest request for a verdict in his favor in a lawsuit brought by New York Attorney General Letitia James. In doing so, the judge dismissed the credibility of one of Trump's expert witnesses at the trial, a professor who testified that he saw no fraud in the former president's financial statements. The trial is centered on allegations Trump and other company officials exaggerated his wealth and inflated the value of his assets to secure loans and close business deals. In the 3-page ruling, Engoron wrote that the most glaring flaw of Trump's argument was to assume that the testimony provided by Eli Bartov, an accounting professor at New York University, and other expert witnesses would be accepted by the court as, and quote, true and accurate, end quote. Next news. Attorneys for a Kentucky woman who sued demanding the right to an abortion withdrew the lawsuit after the woman learned her embryo no longer has cardiac activity. In a court filing Sunday, the American Civil Liberties Union of Kentucky told the judge the attorneys will, in quotes, voluntarily dismiss, end quotes, the lawsuit that was filed December 8th. Lawyers for the woman pointed to a Kentucky Supreme Court decision that said abortion providers cannot sue on behalf of their patients, limiting the legal actions to individuals seeking an abortion. The lawsuit had sought class action status. In quotes, the court's decision has forced Kentuckians seeking abortion to bring a lawsuit while in the middle of seeking time-sensitive health care, a daunting feat and one that should not be necessary to reclaim the fundamental right to control their own bodies, end quotes. The ACLU of Kentucky said in a release Monday. The attorneys said they would continue to look for possible plaintiffs. The case, Jane Doe et al. V. Daniel Cameron et al., was filed on behalf of an anonymous woman who was about 8 weeks pregnant. Last week, just a few days after the suit was filed, lawyers sent notice that the embryo has no cardiac activity. The flurry of individual women petitioning a court for permission for an abortion is the latest development since Roe v. Wade was overturned last year by the U.S. Supreme Court. The Kentucky case was similar to a legal battle in Texas, where Kate Cox, a pregnant woman with a likely fatal condition, launched an unprecedented challenge against one of the most restrictive abortion bans in the nation. Next news. President Joe Biden's push to have Congress replenish wartime aid for Ukraine as part of a deal on border and immigration policy changes will almost certainly drag into next year. The Senate, which had postponed its holiday recess, returned to Washington on Monday after negotiators worked through the weekend on the border legislation, trying to reach an agreement that could unlock the Republican votes for President Biden's $110 billion package of aid for Ukraine, Israel, and other security priorities. But senators said they still had plenty of work ahead, and it remained uncertain how many more days the Senate will remain in session this week. Barely half of the senators returned for a Monday evening vote. Next news. Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, an Arizona native and consistent voice of moderate conservatism, as the first woman to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court, will be laid to rest with funeral services Tuesday. President Joe Biden and Chief Justice John Roberts are scheduled to speak at the funeral held at Washington National Cathedral. O'Connor retired from the High Court in 2006 after more than 2 decades and died December 1st at age 93. O'Connor was nominated in 1981 by President Ronald Reagan. A rancher's daughter who was largely unknown on the national scene until her appointment, she was come to be referred to by commentators as the nation's most powerful woman. Next news. San Francisco prosecutors on Monday began charging 80 protesters who last month blocked traffic for hours on the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge while demanding a ceasefire in Gaza. The protest came as San Francisco was hosting President Joe Biden and other world leaders for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit. 17 people appeared in court on Monday to face charges of false imprisonment, refusing to comply with a peace officer, unlawful public assembly, refusing to disperse, and obstruction of street, sidewalk, and other places open to the public. Their arraignments were continued to February. We're going to take a short break from the daily global English news update of Millennium News TV 24/7. Please stay with us. Thank you.
Welcome to the world of Millennium News 24. We bring news, we analyze news, and we make a bridge between you and the eventful world. 24/7 Millennium News 24 team is at your service. Don't miss Todd Goldfinger show, Goldfinger Music Hour, Noon News with host Todd Goldfinger. Millennium News 24 is available to be watched free for all LED TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV, and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia, available with the Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network, and Horizon Satellite globally. Millennium TV 24 News, news you need to know.
Hello and welcome back to Millennium News TV 24/7 Daily Global News Update in English. My name's Todd Goldfinger, and here's the continuation of today's top headlines. Thank you for being with us. News story number 6. San Francisco prosecutors on Monday began charging 80 protesters who last month blocked traffic for hours on the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge. We just read this story, so we're going to Next news. News story number 7. Israelis were left stunned and speechless when 3 hostages held by Hamas were killed by Israeli forces in the middle of an active war zone after they waved a white flag and screamed out in Hebrew to show they did not pose a threat. For some, the incident was a shocking example of the ugliness of war, where a complex and dangerous battlefield is safe for no one. But for critics, the incident underscores what they say is the excessively violent conduct of Israel's security apparatus against Palestinians. Except in this case, it cut short the lives of 3 Israelis trying desperately to save themselves. "It's heartbreaking, but it's not surprising," said Roy Yellen, director of public outreach with the Israeli human rights group B'Tselem, in quotes. "We have documented over the years countless incidents of people who clearly surrendered and who were still shot." End quotes. Next news. News story number 8. An airstrike believed to have been carried out by Jordan's Air Force struck a province in southern Syria late Monday night, Syrian opposition activists said. Hours earlier, Jordanian authorities said their troops killed several smugglers in a border clash. There was no immediate confirmation from Jordan on the strike that hit the province of Swaida, a known route for drug smuggling from war-torn Syria to its southern neighbor. Smugglers have used Jordan as a corridor over the past years to smuggle highly addictive Captagon amphetamines out of Syria, mainly to oil-rich Arab Gulf states. Jordanian authorities have managed to stop several smuggling attempts, including some in which smugglers used drones to fly the drugs over the border. Next news. News story number 9. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday presented documents to Russia's Central Election Commission to register as a candidate in the 2024 presidential election. He submitted them, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov told Russian state media. Supporters of Putin on Saturday formally nominated him to run in the 2024 presidential election as an independent candidate. The nomination by a group of at least 500 supporters under Russian election law is mandatory for those running not on a party ticket. Independent candidates also need to gather at least 300,000 signatures of support from 40 regions or more. Next news. News story number 10. Greece's anti-terrorism squad is investigating after the National Riot Police headquarters was targeted Monday with a bomb that was defused before it could explode, as police union members protested increasing violence against officers in the force. Authorities had been alerted after an anonymous caller warned a newspaper that the bomb would explode in 45 minutes and described where it had been planted. That gave bomb disposal experts time to find and defuse the device. The bomb had been left in a corpse near the riot police headquarters outside of the city center and close to a university campus, police said. There was no claim of responsibility. This has been the daily global English news update of Millennium News TV 24/7. My name is Todd Goldfinger, and it is a pleasure to do the news for you. Please log in to get the latest news on all of our social networking sites. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. On TikTok, we are Millennium News 24. Also, our YouTube channel is News Channel M24. Viewers, now on both network broadcasting Android and iOS devices, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, also all smart TV platforms. Please enjoy our entertainment, our latest news, views, and editorials, our Millennium TV apps, Millennium TV USA Android, Millennium News Google, www.millenniumtv24.com. Please stay with Millennium News 24/7. Thank you so much, and God bless you wherever you are. Peace.